Hey everybody, it's your man White Wolf, excited that y'all could join me for another training session. Today we're discussing all about emotions. Now we're going to do each emotion one at a time. But the first ones we're going to discuss, the first chains we're going to overcome are fear, guilt, shame, grief, lies, illusions, and attachment. Once we overcome these chains, we enter into a whole new stage of ourselves. And then we can start working on developing the good characteristics that will help us thrive, that will help us co create something magical into this world with God. For today, the first emotion we'll be talking about is fear. Fear, one of the strongest of all chains, has been used for all of human history in order to control, manipulate, confuse, conquer individuals and nations. Fear is like the shadow of darkness itself. As hopelessness engulfs one's heart, fear is what paralyzes and stops you in your tracks. Fear makes the light so hard to see, so hard to hear, so hard to feel. And the thing about fear, it comes in many forms. And once you start to feed it, it grows and grows and grows. Let's take us, the human being. We all have to admit that we're animals. And being animals on this physical plane of reality, there's certain things that our body needs. We all need food, air, water, community, sleep, some type of shelter to regulate our temperatures, to protect us from the elements. And yeah, when we don't have one of these things, it's easy for fear to start creeping in, to paralyze the spirit. We start going to that place of survival, that flight or fight response. When you have eaten for days or drinking water for days, you will do whatever it takes to get what you need. If you feel that someone is attacking your family, that someone is coming after you, you will fight with all you have. You will use any tactic under the sea, under the earth. Fear makes us lose our rationality. It sends us to a place where we start to spiral, ever more downwards, towards despair, towards hatred, towards savagery. And it's important that we start to recognize the chains of fear. For not only in our survival processes does it show up, but in other aspects. When we go after our goals, our dreams, our ambitions, and we get tested, or we tell other individuals how we feel about something, and we get laughed at, get ridiculed. People saying, "You'll never accomplish this. Huh, who do you think you are?" It's fear that goes into our mind that says, "Can I do this?" Our resolve begins to waver. The thing about fear is that there's different tools we have. There's different tools inside of the human spirit that allows us to overcome fear. We've all experienced fear, but having the strength to push past it and to start to learn how to transmute that energy into that of the positive side effect of excitement, of faith, to use it to enhance our strengths, our focus, our determination. Let's look at the world today. Right now, fear is the number one narrative being pushed in every outlet, from the news to the social media, and it creates so much chaos and violence amongst every single one of us. Society is in a place now that is currently not looking the best, but that's going to change. Once we're tired of being in fear, once we start seeing that we have the most technology, we have the most intellectually advanced individuals, we have so much capability within each and every one of us that we use all of these instead of making our resources invested, protected, and accessible to everybody. We use it to push the narrative of fear, of war, of violence, to create this ideology of scarcity. And that's what it takes. It takes going through the darkness to understand what is the light. It takes going through fear, being petrified, being horrified at what we're creating, in order to push the action, the strength, the determination to make a change for the betterment of everybody. Because who wants to live in fear? Who wants to feel so frozen, so icy, so confused? Nobody. None of us. None of us want that. So, yeah. We're getting there. And we're getting there closer and faster and faster. And you see it in the young people. You see it in the older people. You see it in everybody. People are tired. People are stressed. People are sick of being in fear. So let's talk about how we're going to overcome this. Let's first talk about faith. Because faith, oh my gosh. Faith is that next level, super powerful stuff that will get you through anything. But we have to recognize what we're actually putting our faith into and what we're not putting it into. What we need to put our faith into is, first of all, our Creator. That the world is alive. That the world has your back. That you are here for a reason. Secondly, we need to put faith into ourselves. That you're strong enough, brave enough, wise enough, determined enough to overcome any situation. The love inside of you, your heart, will guide you to do whatever you're meant to do. We need to recognize what we're actually putting our faith into. For example, when we go to our jobs and we put our faith in our work environments and these corporations to pay us a wage that would be able to feed our families, that would be able to take care of our shelter, that would be able to be enough for our necessities and even some of the wants. And then quickly we see how that faith can turn to a travesty. How quickly we could be cut without even so much as a thank you. We see how we put our faith in these grocery stores run by these corporations. Even though our food is being poisoned on an unimaginable level. that the prices that we have to pay for clothing, for everything, to brush our teeth, for deodorant, for hygiene, for detergent, for everything is controlled through certain entities. When not too long ago, people made a lot of these things ourselves. We have faith in their own capabilities to grow their own food, to create their own laundry detergent, to create their own soaps that were free from poisons. We even gotta recognize that we put too much faith sometimes into our relationships. It takes two people to make a relationship work. And we allow ourselves to be in toxic relationships where people will tear you down, talk bad about you, make it seem like you're not important, make it seem like your dreams don't matter. There's things we have to recognize, that where we're putting that energy of our faith, because it takes trust. It takes a deep level of trust. And when our trust gets hurt, it becomes really hard to trust again. It takes learning the lesson of what did I put my faith and trust into, and recognizing what can I put my faith and trust into that will never fail me. God will never fail you. God put each of us here for a reason. You have the choice to not fail yourself, to not fail your family. And I mean that in a way that you believe that you have purpose, no matter what things might look, no matter what you have to go through. You believe that you matter. On this journey of having this human experience, we already have everything we need inside of us. God is inside of us. Our moral compass is inside of us. Our intuition is inside of us. And as we really start to follow it with everything we have, we start developing our willpower. We start finding our passions. We start developing our character. We start realizing that we're telling a story. Our life is a story. And what would be a story without trials and tribulations? It'd be boring. And nobody wants a boring story. We're here to make the most awesome, rocking story that we could imagine. And it plays out in your life. To overcome fear, the number one thing we need is faith. Faith in our Creator. Faith in ourselves. And being able to listen to the guiding system inside of us. Let me talk about my journey a little bit. For me, fear has always been a component, a very large component. When I was a child, I was scared of everything. I was the most terrified child that you could just imagine. I was scared of my own shadow. I never wanted to talk. I was one of those real quiet kids that would sit in the back, that would try to hide, because I felt like I was afraid to even show myself. I was afraid to speak up in any way. I was afraid to feel like I mattered. And then as I grew, I made some good friends. And some of the things that we talked about that were so important, the way we looked up to certain individuals, the way we looked up to military individuals. We would talk about the strength, the courage, the pure just amazingness that it took for the soldiers of World War II, for the Vietnam soldiers, for the people who went to Afghanistan, who went to Iraq, who were fighting, who were for real fighting. Man, the dudes of Vietnam, holy smokes, these dudes went through so much darkness. Imagine having to watch out for the most scariest traps all around you while fighting a very determined group of individuals. Because the sad thing is, even our enemies, or what we perceive as enemies, all of them, everybody on that battlefield, it doesn't matter if it was World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. There's many narratives that has been spewed. But damn, everybody on that fucking battlefield deserves respect. To fight your brother to tooth and nail in the most dangerous, hazardous, scariest conditions takes fucking balls. It takes grit. It takes damn determination. It takes a love for something greater than yourself. That's for damn sure. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. And we see that through all of history. There's been some really bad men who've done very atrocious things. And it went to certain places, went to wars to try to stop them. But things aren't always black and white either. And the level of respect for anybody who've died in these types of conditions of war, I think should be deserved for anybody who's fought on the battlefield. That being said, as a young man growing up, we looked at our military as freaking heroes. As men who were fucking brave, who were ready to fucking fuck shit up. As I grew, and I used different things as comforts like alcohol and drugs, I've ran into really good friends. My moral compass directed me into making some really good friends. And when I was turning 18, I knew I was going to have to leave my house. I knew I had to strike out on my own. And I was very much afraid because I knew I was choosing the path of an infantryman. I wanted to do what I felt in my heart, what I felt like I was called to do, that I was going this pathway for a reason. My heart was telling me, go this way. It was for my love of my brothers, of my sisters, the respect that I had for these individuals. And let me tell you how scared I was. I've always been a scared little kid. I was always a scared kid of everything. But sometimes when you start finding different aspects of yourself, you start trusting what is in your heart. You start having faith. And you train, and you develop, and you grow. You start seeing how even though you're scared, you keep moving forward. And you watch your life unfold. And that's how I ended up doing 8 years in the military. Got a chance to go to Afghanistan. Got my CIB. Did my time. Did my thing. Now, there's going to be a disclaimer because now my views of the military have drastically changed, obviously. Because the truth of the matter is, we should not be murdering each other under any circumstance. Murder is never the answer. No matter how we package it up, to do good in certain conditions, to make it sound like we're stopping evil as doorstep. When we're killing each other, we're not stopping evil as doorstep. We're being manipulated. And that's going to be a conversation for another day. As I kept moving, as I was leaving the military, let me tell you how much fear I had when I got the military. First of all, I was happy. I was like, woo! But then it came to looking for a job. It came to, what am I going to do next? What is next for me? And I tried a number of different things. I tried doing HVAC. I tried doing supplement company. I tried doing a number of things. And my moral compass screamed at me. It was like, you ain't doing this. It was like, something's not right here. You feel it. I'm yelling at you. You know you're not going to be here long. And, I trusted that. And I left. And let me tell you, it was damn scary being a man who's always provided for your family. I had a wife and 2 kids at a time. I'm trying to figure out, what the fuck am I doing with my life now? At the same time of trying to figure that out, I started going through a divorce. Let me tell you how much fear I had at that point. I was like, holy shit. I didn't know. My mind, I was spinning. I felt so overwhelmed. I'm just like, I wanted to crawl under a rock and hide. I wanted to just leave everything behind. I was like, what the fuck? At that point, though, I had developed enough strength in certain aspects of myself to have a level of courage, of determination, and to have an idea of where I was going. A small idea. I didn't know exactly what yet, but I had enough. I had enough of an inkling. I had enough faith that the universe was telling me that, yo, you're about to do something. And I had enough faith in myself to be like, yes, I can do it. And no matter what type of stuff would pop up, going through a divorce where somebody you really loved starts saying that you're abusive when you've never done anything like that, when you've always stood on your character, and seeing how everybody around you starts coming at you. Let me tell you the trials and tribulations. When you start walking your path, you face it. You face it with your chest held high. And because you lived in your integrity, because you've walked in faith for so long already, and you've made the necessary changes, that you cleared out guilt, you cleared out shame, you cleared out grief, you cleared out lies. You started reaching a point. Because just as forgiveness is a continuous process, all of these are continuous process to watch out for. Because it's only going to get heavier. They'll only try to fill you with more fear. At that point, I was just in so much faith and confidence. It was scary. It was damn fucking scary. But God told me what to keep my eyes on. My eye on the prize of getting my children back. Of following what God was bringing into me. What my intuition was bringing into me. Alright, so let me talk about nowadays. Because nowadays, I'm in such a state of perpetual faith, day in and day out, that I see the darkness. I see the fear that they're trying to bring into me. And I smile. I've become so much at peace that I just feel free. And I don't mean to sound egotistical. I just want to let my brothers and sisters know that as you level up, they come after you harder and harder. I just finished up my child support case where I sent them all the paperwork that they asked me to send them. I tried to show them that the case was basically, it made no sense whatsoever. And they told me that to go fuck myself. They told me that I wasn't doing a good enough job and that I should be ashamed of myself. And I'm able to think of each one of those individuals in my mind and bring in forgiveness. I'm able to take a breath. I just sit back. I wish them all a blessed life. I hope they find God and that they reach the path they were meant to be on. But I know no weapon formed against me will prosper. I know as they try to put a lean on me, that they try and do this and that. Heck, if they even try to put me in jail, or if they do put me in jail, let me tell you, I am not scared one bit. My eyes are on God. My eyes are on my purpose. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm doing what I'm meant to do. Because it is time in my heart that I know that we are going to make this world beautiful for everybody. That all these different illusions, all this different corruption, and all these different systems is starting to come to an end. For anybody who starts breaking out the matrix, they always come after you. You've heard many different people talk about that too. It's where do you draw a line? Where do you take your stand? Where do you have the courage, the faith to be like, this is my time to shine? I know a lot of people would just think I'm ridiculous, that I'm crazy. But a lot of people thought Rosa Parks was crazy. A lot of people thought Martin Luther King was crazy. A lot of people thought Nikola Tesla was crazy. A lot of people thought always that the greatest individuals in history were crazy. And that to me is more than enough to know that we're about to bring a change. So, when we're talking about fear, is really learning how to have faith in the universe, in God, that God is with you, that God is guiding you, that inside of you, there's something so much more that is telling you where to go. That believe in yourself, because God made you for a mission. And you are going to succeed just as long as you give it everything you've got. You put all you have into developing and knowing and trusting and believing. Because fear is an illusion. And they need us to be in fear in order to control us. And brothers, this is the season that we break free. No chains will hold us. And so, this concludes our training session for today. I hope we all kind of learned a little something about emotions. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Also, go to the Stand store, type in White Wolf 719, and download our free Warriors of Light leveling guide. This leveling guide will help you get from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. Once you hit level 3, you're walking your purpose. You have your own personal connection with God that you don't have to explain to anybody. You are walking the path that you know that you are meant for. Because no one can tell you that but you. Also, go ahead and check out the Warrior Life podcast, talking about Wise Wolf's journey, how he got from basically ground zero to how we're saving the world. And yeah, it's awesome. Go check that out. And get ready for the Soul Society podcast coming next week, Saturday. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Everybody have a wonderful and blessed day. And trust that God is always with you. That God truly loves you. That inside of your heart, you are being led to something so amazing.